day to you. This is Esther Davis. Do we have a great show for you today? We're going to talk about cancer. We're going to talk about nutrition. So please welcome to the show my guest, Dee Simmons.
Oh, thank you.
You're on everybody's show, so now you're on the Esther Davis show.
And that is so important.
It is very important.
Yes, I've been wanting to be on your show for a long time, so I'm excited.
I am excited to have you here. Before we get down to business, I got to have one thing. I got to have your autograph.
Oh,
right.
Now let's see. What am I signing? Okay.
To the Esther Davis show. Happy to be here. From Dee Simmons.
Okay.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yes, that is. I hope I'm back. Yes.
Absolutely. Dee Simmons has not only written books, but she's a cancer survivor. And then she decided, oh, let me do something about this. So she came out with a lot of books, a category of books, and we're going to talk about your nutritional supplies.
Yes. Well, of course, I did that out of my having the cancer.
Right. You had breast cancer.
I was diagnosed. You understand, Esther, in 1987 with breast cancer. And everyone always says, what did you do? Well, first of all, I was devastated. I was shocked. I could not believe it was happening to me. Now, I'm the only person in the world that goes on television and says, hi, I'm Dee Simmons and I'm 64 years old. However, you have to understand when you've gone through almost losing your life, you're so grateful that God gave it back to you. And so I counted a joy to, as you say, appear on television show after television show, really leaving hope and encouragement to those people that are perhaps going through any type of disease.
Well, what I think is so courageous about you, you had everything, absolutely everything. Wealth, success, status, you know, you're a pillar in the community, you do all these things. I saw your picture in the paper just the other day. So you've had absolutely everything, and then you get cancer.
Yeah, but you know what? You can have everything, but when you do not have your health, what does it really mean to you?
You gotta have good health.
So going through, you know, like you understand, at 47, I had never even had a cold, ever in my whole life. So when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I did something quite unusual than most people would do, and I'm very grateful to God I had the assets, my husband did, for me to do this. But I began a journey around the world. I traveled for about almost 2 years. I spent over $1 million. And what I was doing, I'm sure I did a lot of this out of fear because I was afraid. And I traveled and I met with the leading scientists, nutritionists, herbalists.
So you did your own research.
I became an avid student of nutrition. You see, I had a question. In my little mind, there was all this scientific, I had learned about the scientific approach of medicine or disease, but there was a missing link because all these people were not getting well.
Exactly.
So through my 2 years of traveling, I learned you have to take the best of science, the best of nature, and put those together. That's the answer.
So tell me about the nutritional part. What did you come up? 2 years of traveling, you spend a lot of money, all of a sudden I've got to get myself well, but in the process I'm going to help millions and millions of people around the world.
Well, it was interesting because everywhere I went, all these different experts would say, you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, blah, blah. But the one thing they always agreed on is that there's only one disease, and that is a broken down immune system.
That's right.
When your immune system breaks down, something's going to happen. You could get a common cold, you could get cancer, you could get diabetes.
Because you have a weak immune system.
You have compromised your immune system. And so they said to me, the best way to build your immune system is with phytonutrients. Now, a lot of people
Vito, are you saying Vito, V-I?
Vito. Phytonutrients.
Okay.
That's the way the Texans say it. Phyto. The Oak Cliff Texans, honey. Okay, phytonutrients. Now, phytonutrients contain cancer-preventing foods. In other words, these foods are what build your immune system. Now, you know about green leafy foods, green leafy vegetables, the American
You're supposed to have some in all of it.
9 servings a day.
Right, 9
But the ones you probably do not know about would be things like kamut, spirulina, chlorella, wheatgrass, barley grass. All of these are very powerful because they contain these cancer-preventing properties. So I began to go to the grocery store, and I would literally, Esther, fill my basket. I was spending $2,000 a month just on phytonutrients. About that time, Harvard research came out and said the best way to build your immune system is with green leafy vegetables, and you need to juice. So I went out, I spent $1,500 on a juicer. I hired a full-time lady to come to my house 5 days a week to juice. Now, not only was I taking these phytonutrients, I was juicing everything from beets to carrots to everything you can think of.
Everything that basically came out of the earth.
Yes. And what you have to understand is when you juice, juicing only lasts for 10 minutes. Because see, the enzymes, the natural enzymes begin to break down. So juicing has to be juice, then you have to drink it.
10 minutes?
10 minutes, they begin to break down the enzymes. So out of my desperation, I'll be very honest with you, I knew I had to develop a product that contained all the phytonutrients, all the green foods, all these properties that we're talking about.
But out of your desire, you had to live. You had a desire to live. I mean, not just exist, not just exist. You had just a real firm desire.
A desire. I love to live. I love life. Exactly.
Start doing things and get back to your normal life. Did you compromise anything at all? Did you stop doing anything, or you just threw yourself completely into this research?
I did, because I was eating my typical diet was 12 chocolate chip cookies every morning, because I was real skinny, and then I'd probably have a pint of ice cream and I was a big baker, and I had a great cook. And, I love to cook. But I was eating the wrong foods. I bet I was not eating over maybe one. In fact, they only say, I read just the other day, 5% of Americans eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. Only 5%.
5%?
So think about it. There's 95% of us out there that are not eating. And now it's gone from 5 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables. And the sad thing is, they no longer have, of course, the minerals in them because our soil is so depleted.
Absolutely.
So unless you have organic fruits and vegetables, it doesn't even count.
In other countries, that's why this disease does not exist.
Exactly, until they come over here to our country.
And then they catch our diseases, and then they take them.
Because you know why they catch our disease? Because they do what we do.
That's right. They want to do what Americans do.
They have the SAD American diet, SAD, Standard American Diet, which is fast foods, microwave foods, things out of a can, things that's been sprayed, fertilized, dyes. If you go and read the Bible, God tells us how to eat.
Well, God left everything here for us also, right on this earth.
Exactly.
Okay, so now you're down to 5 years of research. You've done everything. You get into the laboratory. Did you physically go into a laboratory and tell the scientists what you wanted?
About 20 laboratories. They say I was the most difficult lady they had to work with.
No kidding.
No kidding.
I cannot imagine you being difficult.
Now let's think about this.
Okay.
First of all, and I want to say this very humble, my husband had plenty of money. I could develop anything I wanted to develop.
Absolutely.
Now, at that time, I was probably being very greedy. I was developing supplements for Dee Simmons. Now, do you think that this woman's going to put anything in her body that's not good? I'm going to have the cream. That's why we ended up with the 7,000 acres of land to grow the food. So, therefore, I went to laboratory after laboratory because I was smart enough to know I could not do food grade because food grade
was not going to substandard. It was not going to work.
Not at all.
Right.
So I knew I had to do a pharmaceutical grade. And the difference is, if you went, say, to the hospital and you had an injection, let's say penicillin, you know that's pharmaceutical grade. Well, most nutritional supplements are food grade. Only 5% are pharmaceutical grade.
But the thing I find so amazing about you is that most wealthy people are very selfish. They are not sharing and giving, and a lot are, I have to admit. But for someone who is ill, and you say, oh, I'm not going to take the pills, I'm not going to take the battery of pills, I'm going to develop. I don't think very many people do that.
Well, because you know why? At the top of most nutritional companies, it's about greed and money. And I don't need any money. That's the last thing I need.
I've heard you say that before.
I can't spend my husband's money. Now, here's the way I looked at it. God gave my life back to me, and it was my responsibility. I had made him a promise for the rest of my life I would help other people.
So when did you make God that promise?
16 years ago. I said, God, if you'll restore my health to me, you will give me the strength to travel the world. And then a couple of years later is when I decided to open my own nutrition company because most of the products out there were inferior. They were not what I would call the grade A, the type of supplements I wanted to put into my body. They had too many secret sugars and hidden ingredients. So.
And by this time you got all of the information. You know what should be done. You traveled the whole world.
Oh yeah, I have all my labs, I have all my chemists, and they know that I'm going to only work with the very top. So that's how the company, actually my company is going on 9 years old.
Is it really?
And we're all over the world now. We even sell supplements to, of course, cancer hospitals.
Cancer treatment centers?
Well, hospitals, yeah, we do.
Okay.
Many physicians. I mean, hundreds of physicians, well known that you know all over this world, buy our supplements for their patients. So
Dee is the host of Health Views, a nationally televised daily nutritional program sponsored by Cancer Treatment Centers of America in Tulsa. You've hosted numerous nutrition-oriented television programs. I know you've seen this lady before everywhere. Listen, we're going to be right back with Dee Simmons on the Ester Davis Show. Wow.
Got a little pop quiz for you. About what? Me. What do I have a hard time keeping shut? Name one team I played for. And what is my nickname? And now I got one for you. Do you know your kid's principal's nickname?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school. And know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Right now, someone could be opening credit card accounts or taking out loans in your name. And before you know it, your credit is shot. I know, because it happened to me. Protect yourself. Always deposit mail in blue U.S. Postal Service boxes. Tear up unwanted documents that contain personal information and review your credit report annually. To learn more about identity theft, visit our website or call toll-free 1-877-987-3728.
Will you comfort her and keep her in sickness and in health?
We will.
I now pronounce you family for life. I love seeing my puppies go to loving homes. I also make sure that new owners know that a dog is a major lifelong commitment.
Responsible ownership starts well before you get a dog. Be prepared for house training, obedience training, visits to your veterinarian, grooming, feeding, walking, and cleaning up after your dog. And just like family, a dog is for life. A message from the American Kennel Club.
October, it's Breast Cancer Month. The American Cancer Society, they need volunteers, by the way. Tell a friend about the programs. Give them a call at 1-800-ACS, American Cancer Society 2345. Ride Dart in October. You get $2 off admissions to the state fair. You can log on to bigtex.com or DART.com. Call Jack Toll. Remember him, the comic impressionist from last week, and his wife Olga? You can get in touch with him at 817-265-0825 or just log on to his website. And St. Philip's is having Savion Glover in town with Clarice Tinsley at the 17th Annual Celebrity Tribute. That's Friday, October 22nd. Get your tickets now. 214-421-5221. Tell Dr. Flowers Esther Davis says hello. Wow, we are back with Dee Simmons on the Esther Davis Show after she's been on everybody else's show all over the world. We're talking about cancer, and let's get right into your diabetes health kit.
Yes.
How many people, Dee, has diabetes?
Well, first of all, let me say diabetes is an epidemic. That's for sure.
It is an epidemic.
Now, there are 33 million Americans that have diabetes that they know. However, Esther, there are 20 million that have no idea they have diabetes.
20 million?
20 million that are walking around. Maybe they don't feel good. Maybe they haven't had the signal yet. But that's what the government says. There are 20 million out there. Now, here's something interesting. If a child was born after the year of 2000, 1 out of 3 children will have diabetes in their life. It is
so now our children are going to, 1 out of
3, if they were born after the year 2000.
You know, I find that so alarming because that only means that our children are not going to have the quality of life.
Right.
By 30 or 35, they're going to be subject possibly with a missing limb or something.
With a missing limb. That's exactly. Or they could have heart disease, blindness. Oh, blindness has just become so... I just can't believe how many people now are calling me and saying, I've become blind, I can't see, I have one eye, I've lost a limb, a limb, all these things have happened. Now also, so we know it's somewhere between the 4th and 5th leading cause of death, and that's probably getting ready to change.
But it's still very high.
That's very high. That's scary.
By the way, you just mentioned something that spurred a question. What do you get most calls on? You're on these shows, you're on radio, you're
Actually,
what do you get most calls on?
Because people know that I am not a nutritional company that just makes fads. They know it's about health-related issues. So it's actually on people that have, most of it over 40 years old, and they have some type of a disease. In other words, after the age of 40, they develop arthritis, they develop, diabetes, cancer. Of course, we're seeing this younger and younger. But that's
right.
Most of the time, that's what we can receive hundreds and hundreds of calls a day, and of course emails, and they're wanting to know, why does this hurt? Why does that hurt? This is what my doctor said. What do you have? That's what they ask. What's the magic potion, in other words?
Well, I was very interested in having you on the show because...
It's degenerative disease. I mean, after 40, we're going to have a degenerative disease. I mean, that's just the way it is.
It's a given.
Because of our diet. Exactly.
But most of these statistics are African Americans.
Yes,
and Mexican Americans.
Exactly.
They are people of color that have diabetes and high blood pressure.
You see higher there.
And they're higher. And
yes.
High
triglycerides, real high triglycerides.
So what's in your diabetes health pack that's different from what's out there in the market?
Well, what's the difference is that, we talked a while ago about the green foods. foods.
I cannot believe all of the things you have in this.
This has been called a health food store in a can.
Yeah.
And pick up this little piece of paper. This is real important because this has been, I'm so proud of this. This is a seal of approval from the Diabetes Resource Center that says this is a good product for diabetics to consume. Now, most of these green foods you see, Esther, diabetics cannot take them because they're laced with sugar. But see, ours are really pure foods. So in this can, in this can is a little bitty scoop, and 3 of those little scoops would be equivalent to 1.5 pounds. Do you hear me?
1.5 pounds
of fruits and vegetables. 1.5 pounds. So now, if you take 3 of these little scoops, you've had about 16 fruits and vegetables a day.
Is this a liquid? What is this?
That's a powder.
It's a powder. So I put it in something.
Yes, you're going to put it in something.
Okay.
You're going to put it because what you want to do is you want to always keep your body totally alkaline. Now what happened, we were having the green miracle and individuals were putting it in Cokes, they were putting it in milk,
Yes,
they were putting orange juice, and it became very acidic. See, disease cannot live in an alkaline environment.
So disease just goes away.
Because it's right, the cells, exactly right. You got to keep your cells. Okay, so when you take the aloe papaya drink and you mix it in the green miracle, instantly your body goes to 7.36. That's an alkaline environment.
So then your body starts fighting the disease.
It starts healing the disease, that's right.
Healing the disease.
Healing the disease. Now, we know that when you put real aloe, most companies are only 5% aloe, ours is 95% aloe, and then I grow papayas. And these papayas, of course, are nature's silent healer, the fruit, papaya. It's loaded with vitamin C. And then I put the other 5% with my organically grown, we have the land, papayas. Now we know when you take the Green Miracle along course with aloe papaya, you're going to enhance the cell's ability to fight disease and put yourself in that alkaline environment instead of an acidic. You take anyone that's sick, you do a test on them, they will always be acidic. We know that. We've proven that over and over. So we're getting the body back to that. Okay. Now, do you remember me telling you a while ago, unless you live on a farm, unless you have organic fruits and vegetables, the soil's depleted, we've not let the land lay fallow like the Bible says to do, so we have to have minerals, because everything's mineral deficient.
Absolutely. We talked about that on yesterday's show.
Okay. My minerals come from the Great Salt Lake. We have the rights to that. They're called ionic trace minerals. They are 26 times more concentrate than any mineral in the world.
So this is a liquid.
A liquid, and you use like a half a teaspoon in your drink.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm gonna tell you something about minerals. You've probably heard of colloidal minerals.
Yes.
You know what those are? They're ground up rocks.
They're ground up rocks?
That's right. They're clay deposits. And you have a cell, and that cell has a little molecule, and they're so large they can't even penetrate the cell, the molecule. With this, it just goes right into the cell and begins to heal the body.
And the liquid gets it into the body
immediately.
much faster.
That's your catalyst. That's what's going to do your delivery system.
If we could just get people to understand how important the immune system is.
Your body can heal itself. It has the ability. It just needs your assistance. That's
well,
all.
it needs you to put the right things in, and that's your assistance.
That's your assistance.
All right,
there.
what does this mean?
Okay, now this is the biggest, you think about a gift, this is the gift. Of all the gifts I could ever bring to you today, this is called Easy-Act Tea. And I began taking this, it was really actually developed for cancer patients. And I began taking it 16 years ago. And then after about 5 years ago, I found the scientist that had developed it for me, and he began to make it just for my customers. We were only really selling this to cancer doctors, to cancer hospitals, and all of a sudden, as the patients began to take this, their insulin levels became normal, their blood sugars lowered.
The blood sugars lowered.
Exactly, their triglycerides, their cholesterol, and all of a sudden, they had to start taking their insulin level 3 times a day, and so many of these patients were able to get off their insulin.
That's right. There's no need for the insulin if your
we never
blood
tell
sugar
you to
is
get
falling.
off anything at all.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say, this is just what happened because it normalized their blood sugar. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing.
And
It sounds so simple. It just sounds so simple. We're talking to Dee Simmons. We're talking about ultimate living.
And you take an ounce of this a day.
An ounce a day.
And you keep it refrigerated.
Okay.
And you just shake it up. And it kind of tastes like a stale tea. And I actually like for people to take this when they first get up on the morning on an empty stomach, and then about 30 minutes later come back
and let it get back into your bloodstream.
Put all this together.
We'll be right back with Dee Simmons talking about ultimate living, your good health. Stay tuned.
looks back fondly on the years they spent in a parking garage. When we lose a historic place, we lose a part of who we are. Help protect historic places in your community. Visit nationaltrust.org.
Let's sit down for a second, okay? So
there's Mary from your class.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Kayla. Come and play.
oh, sweetie. Why don't you go play with those kids over there?
Why?
Imagine the power of one voice. Find yours at freedomcenter.org.
Central Dallas Ministries presents Patti LaBelle, Monday, October 25th, 2004, at the Morrison. You must get your tickets. Get them early. Call 866-468-7621 or just log on to ticketweb.com. Study abroad in Paris. We got the most exciting email from the Dallas County College District. You can contact Carol Ester at 972-238-6110. Study in Paris at a Parish university. Or log on. Dee Simmons, breast cancer survivor. Log on to ultimateliving.com, ultimateliving.com. Great website. I need your community announcements in advance to the Esther Davis Show, P.O. Box 222-111, Dallas, Texas 75222, or just log on to estherdavis.com. We have been talking to Dee Simmons about living and living well, and
ultimate living,
and the fact that you are this marvelous, wealthy woman that could have gone off on the islands and just decided to do nothing.
Don't mention that today.
No. What does your husband say about you?
My husband's off in Vermont today, enjoying the cool weather. Well, my husband, if he had, he's 76 and I'm 64. If he had his preference, it would be for me to travel the world with him. Right. However, he understands this is a ministry God has given me, and he is so supportive, Esther, of what I do. He travels with me. You know, we're on the road all the time from TV network to TV network to TV network. Right. And yet I feel like if I do not do this, who's going to do this?
Right.
See, I have to. I've been called to do this, just like you're called to your ministry.
Right.
This is my ministry.
And you made a promise to God, so
promise.
You're keeping your promise.
So he's very committed to me. You know, he runs 5 major companies on the New York Stock Exchange, and yet he loves Ultimate Living, because when he receives these beautiful letters of people saying, my life has been changed, I'm no longer sick, I'm well, I no longer have cancer, I no longer have diabetes, it's just worth it all.
Does he take the product?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, he looks so good, you got to see him. He looks wonderful, yes.
He doesn't look 76 at all.
He had his blood work done the other day, and the doctor said, I can't believe this. This looks like the blood work of a 35-year-old man.
Oh, no.
What are you doing? He said, just what my wife lays out. So, yes,
I just think it's amazing what you're doing, because we have such a concept of wealthy people.
Yes.
You know, you're traveling here, you go to this society party, you go in here, you go in there, you have a yacht, you have private planes. We don't think of them as saving the universe and actually putting their own dollars into a product. Well, this is all you do.
Lots of times those people have not almost lost their lives. See, I think your priorities change. I can't always say I was that way.
Okay.
You know, used to I was jetting around in my jet. I still jet around in my jet airplane, but it's go do another television show.
Okay.
It's not for fun on the Riviera. And like I used to have a home in Hawaii, I no longer have that. I no longer have a California home. I have a Dallas home and an office. That's really what I have. But I just, I love helping people, and I'm just, you know, some days I get so tired and so weary. I spoke a couple of nights ago to several hundred people, and I walked in that night, Esther, and I said, God, just let me know that I'm really in your will. And this man came up to me, the first person there, and he said, I'm a pilot with a major airline, and he said I could no longer pass my test to get my license, and he was one of the majors, and he said, I got on your products, and in 2 months, everything in my blood work came out perfect. And it's just like the Lord said to me, is that quick enough?
Oh my
so
gosh.
When you hear these testimonies, it's worth it all.
It is.
It is. It's worth it all.
But I want to get back to the diabetes health pack, because it seems like, I mean, we know there are we know how many Americans. What products? Let's go back to what products are actually in here. I'm going to get to my notes.
Okay, it would be all these. It'd be the Green
everything
Miracle.
is here.
Everything's here.
And then it says 3 times the herbs.
Yes. In other words, there are only about 3 companies in the world that make this, but I make mine 3 times stronger than anyone else makes it. Like I said, this little can in here has been called a health food store in a can. Everything we do, I do for a purpose. I just do not sit around and make products. This is what we call a diabetes health pack.
And it lowers your blood sugar. That's the most important thing.
And it makes the pancreas to be able to actually secrete the insulin like it should, to regulate the blood sugar. See, we know if we can detox the body, stimulate the pancreas, then we can control the blood sugar. We know that. And
Green Miracle. Tell me about the name. How'd you come up with the name?
It's a miracle. Can I say something?
Sure.
This is what I say.
Okay.
This little can. Green Miracle changed my life by saving my life. And this is a miracle.
And that's a miracle.
This is everything that Dee Simmons took for 5 years to rebuild her body.
And to arrest your cancer.
And I decided, instead of making people go out and buy 50 or 60 products and ingredients, put it all in one can. That's why it took me 8 laboratories before I finally had someone that would make the product.
And you're so emphatic about that.
Very much. No one in the world makes a product like this, and no one will ever make a product like this, because it's very expensive.
Because you did the research yourself.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk, just an idea, because I'm going to get the cost. How much does this cost?
$50.
$50. So if they're taking pills, if they're taking Vioxx and some of the other expensive
medications. Well, you can't take that anymore. It's been pulled off the market.
I know. It's been taken off the market, but that medicine is so expensive. So this is $50 a month, roughly. I mean, I'm just trying to get a price comparison here.
Let me check this whole pack, and the best way to look at it is a pack.
Okay.
It's like $135 a month. Okay. Do you know what the medicine would cost?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
We had a lady that was on the show that was taking 6 medicines that were costing $500 a month. Now, she only received $700 a month. So, and then she had to go and find a part-time job. This is not a wealthy woman. This is just a woman living day to day. And then to supplement her income. So now you're talking about $135 versus $400 or $500 a month, basically. That's my point.
Think about parasites.
Oh.
I have someone that was taking a parasite and a real expensive drug. It was $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. Now she's taking this. We don't have to worry with $1,000 a month. So this is $135 versus, it was like $985. So this is something it's not only going to just work for diabetes, it's going to prevent all disease.
Well, if you're revitalizing your cells and strengthening your immune system, then you're going to ward off.
I'm just going to read this one little thing to you.
Okay.
And this just came out yesterday today. Older men and women with diabetes face a 65% increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. That's brand new study.
Wait, we better read that again. Alzheimer's.
Older men and women with diabetes face a 65% increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Now, we know about Alzheimer's. We know what happened with our precious President Reagan.
Yes.
If we had only known about these things. So, I believe, Esther, in prevention. Prevention. That's the name of the game.
Prevention. Strengthen your immune system.
Yes.
Listen, will you come back on my show?
Yes, I would love to.
Let's talk about Ultimate Living, and all this information that you have is just so very, very valuable.
They can get a lot of this by going to my website.
Okay, ultimateliving.com, ultimateliving.com, or you can log on to Esther Davis. This is phenomenal. Seal of approval from the Diabetes Research Center. They're approved to use your product.
Yes.
Thank you. You're the greatest audience in the world. It's Esther Davis. See you next week.